What?
I don't know. Are they talking about us? Oh, there's like an actual person in the game called Caster.
Yeah.
That's a Korean guy, isn't it? I don't know.
Ooh.
I know that I've seen a couple of people like fake around with that name to troll, but I don't think this is that instance.
Yeah, because we know what that means.
Yeah, right? Oh, Crimson, I'm sorry if I missed you. Hey, dude, I just glanced at chat real quick. And, of course, Sola-san. Crimson, did you get your slippers yet? I know it's going to take like a month to get to you. I'm just curious if you got them yet, because I know they were shipped a while ago. Anyways, sub stuff on hold for now, guys. This is the Acer Team Story Cup. Welcome back. This is game number 2. And it's going to be NewRoSoft versus Mouseports. Of course, Mouseports currently up 1-0 at the moment. It's spawning in the top right corner of the map. This guy's had a ton of different aliases. Right now he goes by the name Hunter, but you may know him as Puzzle or Ghost or all these other names that have been bouncing around. And I thought he was still in No Dice Gaming, but apparently now in NewRoSoft since April 8th by the looks of it. So yeah, the blue Protoss. Woo, best intro ever.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, it is Starbuck.
You know, there's a lot of people in the game who have like earned these sort of nicknames or jokes. Like, you know, there's the whole White Rush Special Tactics thing, but I kind of feel like if there was one Zerg player to be labeled with Special Tactics, it wouldn't even be TLO in comparison to Starbuck. Like, we've seen creative players, we've seen weird players, we've seen anything but standard players, but the thing about Starbuck is he got famous pretty much for drone drilling a cannon defense in like WCS. I think a lot of people when he was back on MIA had seen some of his stranger tactics in macro and micro and all these things, but it was that one instance last year in WCS when he brought 10 drones across the map stacked up as one, and he killed a cannon with it, that people were like, whoa, who's this dude?
I want to know where he actually got his name from.
I'm imagining it's got to be like Battlestar related. There's almost no way.
Isn't it also from Moby Dick?
It's Battlestar, okay, and nothing else.
Oh, fine. All right, fine. It's probably from Battlestar.
Is it cooler to think that it's like from this weird thing about a guy who's got this weird obsession with a whale, or from like this awesome sci-fi series? I mean, come on. They had 2 iterations of it. They remade it. That's how good it was.
Of course.
When's the last time you saw a Moby Dick movie? Huh?
That's a good question.
Actually, it's probably like Russell Crowe on the way or something. I mean, like we had what, Noah recently, right?
Noah, Moby Dick, same thing really. I mean, it has to do with water.
Yatter. Alright, well, Hunter's gonna look out here and get a probe across it. Now, I do want to talk about this a little bit because we have seen puzzle. By the way, guys, I want to stress this is never like the same KT puzzle from like, you know, famous Once Upon a Time. It's just a guy with the same alias and shared it. But we've seen puzzle actually a lot. He would play in a lot of the Go for StarCraft Cups. We'd see him in the Monday finals a lot of the time. And what would end up happening was it felt like he would choke. He would do so well, he'd get to the finals, and I don't know if it was stress, fatigue, the fact that he's from Korea, what the deal was. But like, I remember specifically there was one time he fought against Violet, and Violet didn't even do anything like cheesy or abnormal. He just things like the SimCity at the front not being complete, not having a zealot in hold position. Like we saw him lose to Lings 12 minutes in. I mean, weird little things have gotten to him in the past, so I don't know if he's at the peak of his game, if this is going to be the best match he's ever played versus Starbuck, or if this is just one of those, like, it could go either way type series. But, you know, Protoss on this map and these locations, it's not exactly a free, it's not the same as, like, you know, for either of these players, let's say it would say Terran horizontal to Zerg, but what's really nice is he's able to take that further back base, and I think, honestly, this one's a lot easier to SimCity off than the one in the middle of the map.
Yeah. I was wondering if that was going to be walled off, and I guess putting down that extra pylon makes it a really odd wall off, but one that works nonetheless.
Well, he's not able to stop these, because I think he knows if he leaves from the wall, the Lings are going to run right past him, so he's got to wait for that Mothership Core to come out. He's taking a lot of damage on his gateway, though. Oh my god. Will this actually go down? I'm like watching the clock on like the Mothership Core come out. He's chronoing it out. Jesus.
He decided to go for the probe instead. I mean, I think if he had all 4 Lings there from the start, that would have gone down.
Can you imagine losing your gateway to something like that this early, though? That would have been not like embarrassing or stupid, just would have really set off your production, because you don't typically throw down 3 or 4 gateways until a few minutes from now, quite frankly.
I think it would have been embarrassing.
Well, I mean, there's that too, but
it's like when I play Protoss and I'm like, oh well, I don't even know, so it's okay. But Hunter should know. He plays
now
Protoss a
this
lot.
is really cool.
This is...
Starbuck. This is what I'm talking about. This guy does weird stuff, guys. If you've never seen Starbuck, get ready to fall in love with him, win or lose today, because he always does weird things like setting a spire off to the far side so it doesn't get scouted. The drone Joe I'd referenced before, and he does some weird ling aggression too. But again, it's gonna be questionable whether this pays off or not. Mutalisks are granted good versus Protoss, but they're not exactly an auto win. Like, you can't just go Mutalisks and be like, ha ha ha, I win. A lot of the times their strength comes a lot from tech switches, and by starting off with Mutalisks, it really gives Hunter a lot of time to prepare. Like, you're going to see the first 3 or 6, maybe you'll lose some probes, the sentry may even go down, but you'll have enough stalkers to keep them at bay until you can get Stargates down, until Phoenixes come out, until Archons are made. I mean, there's countless ways to deal with them.
Well, we actually have Hunter going for a 7-gate +1 all-in here, and it unfortunately was not scouted by Starbuck. He saw a Forge, but there could have been a Twilight Council, ready to go with only a few gateways instead of a whole 6. He's really nothing seen to tell him that.
What's kind of funny about this, though, is I feel this is going to be a lot more Zealot heavy. So the Mutalisks might end up working out pretty nicely in the defense, but they're not going to kill Zealots very fast is the downside.
Yeah, and should he see them, when they're in small numbers still, a big warp into Stalkers, because with 7 gateways, you can, if you got enough money, you can suddenly have a very powerful anti-air army. You want spine crawlers, and it looks like he saw something, I guess with the Ling, he saw stuff moving across the map or something, because he's putting on spine crawlers. This is exactly what you need when you go for these really fast Mutalisks against a build like this.
This sounds silly. I don't think he may have seen anything. I think this might just be his inherent, like, okay, I just dumped my money in the Mutalisks, let's try getting something else out. But the Phoenixes and the Mutalisks, well, not the Phoenixes, but the Hallucinations did scout the Mutalisks as they were coming across the map. So we already had 2 Stargates being thrown down immediately, and a full recall as well.
I kind of like this recall. I mean, maybe he busts the spine crawlers, but he has no idea how many Lings are really hidden, so he doesn't really want to try. And honestly, by, like, not taking that much damage from the Mutalisk and getting these double Stargates up, I think he's okay to go into macro game.
Not taking much, but 18 probes did die, so on 2 bases, a little bit different than 3.
That is more than I thought it was. He's now at 33. But if he can still get a nice Phoenix count up, they wreck Mutalisk, but Starbuck's already transitioning, so this could be a problem.
Yeah, the Hydra's on the way. I mean, I like that he's even taking the lower left base, by the way, saying, you know what, if he didn't scout my Spire, chances are he won't scout a 3rd over here.
It's awesome. It's a good idea.
Alright, well, he cleans up the pylon. He's got a lot of Lings to dance with. Even with the Phoenixes out, he's got to be careful how he controls them, though. Mumbita does get picked off here. A little bit frustrating, of course, because Phoenixes do innately outrange Mutalisks, even without the Impulse Crystal upgrade. So what we see are kind of similar to Marine versus Stalker tactics, where you run away and then try and shoot around on a dime to bait them to being too close.
But now he's baiting Hunter to get a lot of Phoenixes, and Phoenixes, they can actually be very, very helpful against Hydras. Actually, they pick them up, they do a lot of damage to them. They might still work, but should Starbuck getting overwhelming amounts of Ling Hydra, the Phoenixes really aren't going to help that much.
Yeah. I mean, with enough, of course, you can pretty much like one-shot every Hydralisk you pick up. Not to mention, if you go for an abundance, like if you had, say, 6 or 12, then all of a sudden you can do a lot of crowd control at the same time. Jones being transferred, they're going to give away what's going on here. This is so unfortunate timing-wise for Starbuck. That's awkward. He's going to lose, if not all of these, most of them.
Yeah, that's
the last couple. That hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, and what did he just learn right there? Probably that there was a hidden base, unless he thinks they might have been transferring to this 3rd. I mean, they're taking an awful weird route to do that, though.
Right, like that has to kind of give away that something's up somewhere else on the map. Now, the downside is he doesn't know where still. 3rd base will go down, and perhaps he'll be satisfied with this, but while this is happening, he loses all the probes in his natural. Phoenixes do rush home to defend, but Mutalisks, actually handle this pretty nicely, because underneath this, let's not forget there's some Zerglings as well.
And Hunter's feeling a little pressure to go ahead and make the all-in, or well,
the high ground for these
now.
Hydras. Free Stalker kills.
No mothership core for the high ground vision, no recall, the photon overcharge wasn't even there. I guess actually it was there on the main.
Oh, did he lose all the mutilas? Looks like he did lose all the mutilas, so those have been cleaned up now. You know, as odd as it is to say, I would really like for him to pick up those Phoenixes and go back into mutilisks. Not a lot, I'm like maybe 8 or 10. Because he's been getting a lot of probe kills with those. But
Surprising
for now,
amount, I think.
Yeah, but for now, like all the gas has to stay on the Hydras. I mean, he's got a gateway attack that's still coming in. That gateway count did not change from earlier, guys.
The only reason he's not even trying to go out to take on this army before reinforcements could be made is because the force fields are way too scary. Like, no force fields, probably take on this engagement. Okay, a lot of force fields, not so much. He wants to wait for the spine crawlers to actually help him out. And now that he's killed so many probes, I think he feels that Hunter has to do something.
Yeah, it's definitely the Protoss player in this scenario that's forced to make the first move. Ooh, doesn't even quite get that Hydra list. That's very unfortunate, actually.
Even putting down spore crawlers, he knows this is pretty much the last defense. I mean, he has Lings on the possible thirds of Hunter. He has to assume that the probing.
Oh, Hunter did find his base, by the way.
Well, that's actually really nice. I mean, Starbuck was going to be contained on 2 base, but actually a third one, and now it literally is still a contained on 2 base.
Well, look what Stardust is doing, or Starbuck is doing.
See. Okay, he's also getting infestation pits, so do you think this is actually not just for the Hydras to go somewhere else, but actually getting swarm hosts?
Swarm hosts would be good. There's no detection. No cannons. No robo. Maybe an oracle, but I mean, we're going to be realistic. There's not going to be any detection for this.
Can Starbuck even afford it, though? Without that third base, that was really helping him out a lot. By the way, those drones are still alive. They went, like, to the top left. They're on a
sabbatical.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright, so Nidus Swarms is coming right outside the base, and what's really nice about this, well, actually forces a fight before this can finish up. Force fields do go down. The Hydras are not really affected by them whatsoever. The only thing they do is really keep them from getting in too far. We get the high ground also aiding a lot to this. While the spine cores have gone down, this gateway force is finished, and I mean, the Nidus Swarm, not even necessary, but did finish. Alright, so Starbuck